So we're going to evaluate the theatre and education unit as a whole, not just the performance, but the process we went down. I'd like everyone to give me kind of how they think it went in relation to the grading criteria, which I'll make sure is on the screen. Who'd like to start?
I would love to start.
Thank you, Mike.
I'd like to discuss things that worked well performance-wise for me. For one, I think the physicality I did was really strong. It reflected the oldness of the character, and watching the video back, I saw that it was really consistent throughout. I was basically hunched over for the whole thing, which, it worked really well for the physicality, and it was very consistent. And then in relation to voice, I think the accent which I worked with was really good. I did realise afterwards there was another accent I could have worked with which might have worked better. However, I did the best with what I had. It was added some comic elements to it, and it worked well for the character. I also feel I was very confident in it. Everything I did was consistent, it stayed throughout, and I was always in character. For example, during the workshop, I know specifically there were a lot of questions that the children asked which sort of threw me. I didn't really know what to say, but I stayed confident. I just made sure I was still in the character, and it worked well. And there was actually a bit of having to adapt and improvise. For example, when in the second performance I ad-libbed a line where I asked them if their head teacher was grumpy, and they said that he wasn't, which was against the joke that I was already making, so I just sort of adapted and improvised to find my way around that. In relation to what I could have done better, I definitely think clarity was a massive issue with my performance when I'm doing the accent that I'm doing, and the fact that I had to spout quite a bit of exposition. A lot of what I was saying was really important, and maybe not all of it came across because I was too focused on making sure the voice was good rather than making sure the audience understood what I was, found the accent entertaining. I also feel like I could have added more interaction with the audience, because the most that I really did was every now and again I just sort of looked at them and said something at them. I didn't have any moments of asking them to chant along with me, because when we did, it was all group related and I didn't really contribute much to it. I sort of let everyone else order the kids to do it. I also worry that the character was a little bit one-notey, because watching it back I noticed my voice is almost quite high up and strained throughout the whole thing, and I don't really take it down or take it higher. In relation to production, I feel like...
We just do performance for the moment, thanks.
Oh, okay. Well, that's all my performance notes.
Does anyone want to add anything to Mike's?
I think the only thing with your voice is that, remembering the audience that we were actually working with was quite a young audience. So, although you might have been expecting them to find it funny, they're a lot younger, so they probably didn't, because they didn't understand that being the decision that you made. But I don't think that it's because you chose a bad accent or anything. But it's just that obviously we were working with younger people, so your clarity should have been more of a focus.
The accent was something they could relate to as well. With it being Bristolian and them obviously hearing a lot of Bristol accents, they would probably be able to understand what was being said, and it's something that they could laugh at, because obviously you might have grandparents who speak like that, and then they can relate to all the colloquialism. Yeah, that word.
Okay, excellent. Next up then, please.
I will.
Go for it.
I think in my performance, one of the things that I needed to work on the most was my physicality, because I just think that I didn't really have a clear stance or anything like that, and that I could have put a lot more tension into my movements, or just made a few more decisions about whether I was going to be really tense and rigid and upright, or whether I was going to be a little more fluid with it, because I think either way kind of would have worked, but I didn't go with either. But I think that my voice worked because working with younger people, I really had to make sure that they were engaged with what I was saying, and being sort of the one that led their interaction probably the most. I had to make sure that my voice was able for them to interact with. In some ways, it's kind of like I was a CBeebies presenter, that kind of over the top enunciated words so that they could really clearly hear me. Yeah, that's kind of what I've got written down at the moment.
Anyone want to add to George's? What did you like about George's performance?
It really seemed like he was having fun with it, which was
Yeah.
something really important, which we all discussed when we first started. It was a matter of, it wasn't necessarily all about making a character, it was about enjoying the character.
And like, because he was given his character in such short notice, the way he managed to sort of make it work with the costume and stuff when it was all just thrown together, and he just came up with a character like that, and then, like how he made it work really well with the kids, that was really good as well.
Okay.